Healthy Rebel Radio is sponsored by the Healthy Rebel app. 300 plus secretly healthy, delicious, mouth-watering dessert and treat recipes made with all-natural, whole food ingredients. Now available for download on the App Store and Google Play. Find out more details at healthyrebel.com.
Welcome to Healthy Rebel Radio. I'm your host, Dr. David Deiser. I'm here with my Damien Health Healthy Rebel co-founder, Amy Lane. Good morning.
Good morning.
Today we're talking again about holistic weight loss. We did a series a couple days ago. We did a part 1, part 2. Mm-hmm. One thing we need to add to that that's what we're both very passionate about, and I think this will be a great discussion, is how thought patterns affect our ability to lose weight. We all have conscious and unconscious thought patterns that can affect the way we live. Mm-hmm. They can affect our health. Mm-hmm. They can be positive. They can be extremely negative.
Definitely. And one thing I've learned is when they're negative, sometimes just looking at them, which I say is kind of, metaphorically I say shining a light onto them, can expose them, and you can realize, oh, this is ridiculous, or it's not ridiculous, but here's the steps I can take to just dissolve them. So sometimes just recognizing them, oh, that does come up in me. Because a lot of it is subconscious. A lot of our patterns we don't really think about too much. We just go into life the way things are and our lives unfold and we kind of get rolling.
We just roll with it. We just roll with the same old thought patterns.
And one thing for me that really shocked me, it was some of the thoughts I had around losing weight. And I say losing weight, but for me it was... that was what surfacely I desired to do. I was always consistently 30 pounds heavier. But really, what I should have been focused on was becoming healthy because I was extremely unhealthy. I was self-abusive and just riddled with self-hate, which I didn't recognize. All I could recognize was the superficial. But once I started looking at those things and some of those ideas that were holding me back, first of all, their power is taken away as soon as you look at them. As soon as you really honestly look at a problem,
that's true,
or a thought pattern, it loses its grip, no matter what. Even if you have to go back and do lots of work, if you can be honest with yourself and really look at these things, it loses its grip. It takes its seriousness down a peg.
It does, and even knowing that someone else has gone through it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's a lot of discussions I have with my check-ins with our members on my programs, the Method and the Bikini Body. A lot of conversations we have... people will tell me, I'm embarrassed to say this, or this is what's coming up for me, and I'm like, yeah, I've been there. And people are shocked, like, oh, I thought I was alone in this suffering.
Right.
It's like, no, it especially, us as women, because we are up against so much in the world, we kind of try to hide those things, our flaws, as in like our fears. We try to hide them. We don't really publicly or even in our friend circles discuss them, or in our families, because it's scary, it's vulnerable.
Well, often, like you said, they're often considered personally. I mean, this is on an individual basis, but they're often considered to be flaws.
That's right. Well, and that's what I considered it before. I'm
thinking a certain way, and
right.
This is not the way you should be thinking, and should,
right.
and all this stuff, right? So
right. And depending on who your friend circle is or who your family is, there may not be support there when you try to discuss those things. I remember times in my life where I had a little bit of bravery and would try to discuss some things I was thinking and was shut down because the people I was surrounded with weren't the type of people that were interested in self-growth themselves or improving their lives themselves. So even me just expressing... I think this is off. I think that people that are more, successful, we'll just use that word, in life, don't think this way. They'd be like, don't be ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. No, they're gifted.
They're special. Don't be ridiculous. You can't change. We are who we are. We have been for generations. Just stop it. Like, go back to who you were. And if you're, for me, that was like, oh, okay, I'm not special. That it kind of verified my fears. But the reality was, the people I was talking to, they didn't want to change. So that even the threat of me bringing up something that may conjure their ego to take a look and flash a light on their insecurities inflamed their ego. So they shut me down, which, like, you know, not intentionally trying to hurt anybody. Like, that's the thing, too.
No, for sure.
A lot of these things happen, and we talk about them, and it's not, I'm a victim, and they are terrible people. This is all just our egos fighting each other. You know, nobody's the bad person in this scenario. It's just the truth.
Exactly. But, I mean, critically evaluating your own ego and seeing how the different ways that can be affecting your overall health can be really helpful.
So we use ego as in our fear-based small mind that keeps us contained, keeps us safe, keeps life rolling as is, and never going outside the box, never reaching outside to be better, never, you know, taking that chance or evolving. So that's what we're saying when ego. It's that, you can call it your fear mind, your small mind, you know, your fearful thoughts, whatever you feel comfortable. We use ego as that umbrella.
Exactly. Thank you for explaining that. It's important.
Yeah.
Let's cover some of these thought patterns.
Sure.
That we believe and we've seen come up so many times. Again, these can be conscious or unconscious.
Right. I'll get you to take some of the lead. We've discussed, just quickly, we made notes before so that we wouldn't miss anything. So I'll get you to just trigger me or trigger yourself with what we've written down.
Let's start with just the general category. These guys are not the deepest version. These are more of the superficial ones.
Right.
But these come up so frequently.
I call them the quick hitters, the stingers.
That's right.
Yeah.
The stingers.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Because they can be resolved quickly if you are willing.
Definitely. Some of the really important ones include this thought pattern: I don't have time for weight loss.
Big one.
It's so common.
Big. And you know what? Surfacely, in reality, 99.9% of us don't have time. That's just that.
No, you look at your schedule and say, where could exercise fit into here?
And there you go.
And the ego
Problem
can say,
solved.
no, you know what? It doesn't fit.
Yeah, it's problem solved. You don't have to work out.
It's not for me.
So that's, with that one, that's that quick change where you have to start considering, you just don't allow yourself to make that excuse. You look at your life in reality and understand that exercising is like brushing your teeth, and it's a non-negotiable. You have to do it. So you either get up 30 minutes earlier every morning, or you go to bed 30 minutes later at night, or you take your lunch break and you work out, or you don't sit on Facebook, you don't watch TV. You do whatever it takes to just get it done, and you surrender it like, this is like my hygiene. I can sit around and complain about it, but that's insane. It's insane to say, oh, the time I spend brushing my teeth, I just wish there was a way around it. Like, no, done. We're all adults. We all need to grow up. Exercise is a part of life if you want to be a healthy, happy, high-functioning individual. And we're blessed to be able to do it if we can.
That's true.
So that excuse needs to dissolve. Whatever needs to be done. And it doesn't mean you have to become this. That's the other thing too. Like, you know, sometimes when
you don't need to be an athlete.
Sometimes we seek, you know, that perfect person with that perfect body, and then we're like, okay, what does she do? And it's like, okay, she works out for 2.5 hours every day, you know, 365 days a week. You don't have to be that person. You know, just start, you know, gentle. If you're going from nothing, going to 3 to 4 days a week, working out for 40 minutes, just speed walking, if that's all you can do, start with that. And every time you do it, tell yourself how amazing you are. Mm-hmm. End of story.
Exactly. And I noticed you mentioned stop watching TV. Do it while you watch TV. I mean, there's ways around.
I mean, if you have to, but the reality is people will say, I don't have time, but they'll play games on Facebook. Now tell me, who has time to play games on Facebook but can't go out and take care of their body? Come on. Like, this is just...
I know, especially now with all the excellent research for short bursts of exercise being so beneficial for weight loss.
The all-day workout. If you haven't listened to me talk about the all-day workout, if you're one of these people that don't have time, go back. We'll link it in the episodes.
Okay.
And look at my all-day workout. It's, you know, yes, you still have to eat properly, and I suggest on the Bikini Body program for anybody, really. But the all-day workout works.
It does. Engaging the muscles once in a while throughout the day for short bursts of energy. It actually has really great research for the ability to stimulate weight loss. Basically, you're stimulating metabolism.
And I'm thrilled about the research, but for my own personal life,
I like that.
You know, from what I've had to sometimes get through certain weeks when we're having certain launches, and I have to still do all my extra work on top of that. I have done the all-day workout, and I mean, I'm almost 7 months pregnant, and I'm leaner today than I was before. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's just reality.
Definitely, exactly. So the point in this one is drop the excuses. Find the way. Mm-hmm. Find the way. Whether you have to get up half an hour earlier, you'll end up... This is the funny thing about getting up half an hour earlier. You say, oh, I'll lose 30 minutes of sleep. No, you'll sleep deeper the next night.
You'll sleep more soundly. It's a gift that keeps on giving.
Mm-hmm. The next one, another superficial one, my genetics don't allow it. No one in my family is lean.
Yeah, and that's one that I'm just over. Because I've myself proven that to be untrue. That's just a fact.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I took my body from, a completely different shape and consistency to just a completely different... Like, when people see pictures of me and then they see me in real life, they'll say, oh, I thought you were taller.
Right.
I was accused of, when I first started sharing my before and afters, people would say, well, I mean, this one was insane.
This was my favorite one. I know where you're going.
Yeah. Someone wrote, actually shared my picture on a community and said, vote your opinion. Do you like her before she had the neck elongation surgery or after better?
Oh my gosh.
And I just, it really hurt me at first. I was really upset. But now getting away from it, it's
hilarious.
Is neck elongation surgery a thing?
Is it?
And to clarify, I've never had plastic surgery. Of any form.
Not that it's bad, but it's just not been a part of your life.
That's the truth. Mm-hmm. If I did have plastic surgery, I'd be the one who talks about it. I'd be the one why I did it. Here's who I went. Research your surgeon. That's who I'd be. I've never had plastic surgery. I've also accused of having breast implants. My body consistency is just completely different, and it's from the ground up changing my quote-unquote genetics. Yeah. My shape is completely different. I had that apple round shape, and now I have a tight hourglass figure. It just is.
Exactly. And here's what we know so far. We know two things. We know that the current thought is that genetics play 50% of the role. 50% nature, 50% nurture. Okay? We also know about the incredible topic and the incredible science behind epigenetics. Being able to alter your genetics with very specific lifestyle changes appropriate for you. So we've got this idea of 50% nature, 50% nurture. Okay, you've been dealt this hand, that's 50% of the hand. 50% of it is what you do with it. 50% of it is the lifestyle around it. So if your family members, if you look at them and you say, oh, that's probably going to be me. Well, if you follow the same lifestyle, the other 50%, yeah, definitely it will be. Definitely.
But those numbers even don't, for me, don't even represent the reality of what you can do. Because I can't look at any family member in my family, immediate or extended, and see my body shape. But I used to. 10 years ago, I was the exact same body shape as everyone.
Right, yeah.
And that's not to say, to call anybody out or whatever. These are all us adults making our own choices. I'm just saying I chose that I wanted to be lean, long, fit, light, tight. I used to say those things to myself. Mm-hmm. And then I did the real ground-up work. I built my foundation out of stone, not on sand. And I actually made it happen.
Yeah.
And now it can't be taken away.
Exactly. And if we look at epigenetics, we find out things that work for you and things that don't. So when you cut coffee, your cortisol management became excellent, and it allowed you to lose weight like no problem. And to
not only did cutting coffee allow me to take that extra 12 pounds off and keep it off with ease, it changed my waistline.
It did.
Quickly.
Yeah, it did. Very interesting to me.
Very interesting. And it's the truth. And that's the only thing that I really altered at that time. Except for that you did put me through the healing protocol. And I didn't, and that's another thing that we should link. The adrenal fatigue, journey that I kind of went on with you.
Done.
Yeah.
Great. So, forget about your genetics.
I mean, it's just...
move on.
Move on. Let it go. Stop focusing on that and start focusing on what you want.
I've got some other superficial ones that I think we should definitely cover.
Okay.
This one is, it doesn't matter what I eat.
Ugh. That's one I just can't stand.
That reaction, I love that.
Because I can't stand it.
The ultimate sigh.
Because I can't stand it. Because you know why I can't stand it? That was me. And I just know the truth of it now.
Mm-hmm. When you're in it, though, this thought pattern is doesn't matter what I eat, I still gain weight, or I still can't lose weight. That's the thought pattern.
Right, but there's something there that you have to really... Like, if it makes you mad, if you're having a conversation with someone, and someone says, yeah, but you're not doing everything, and if your reaction is anger, you know there's something wrong.
You're missing... Yeah,
you know something. That you're tricking yourself. You know that that's your ego talking. If any of these things trigger you and make you mad, you don't understand, then that's your problem. Right there. Because that was me. Because 10 years ago, you came to my house and opened my fridge, I had a sugar-free yogurt packet, an apple, and a Bao Buddy cleanse cookie. And that's insane. That's all I ate.
That was it.
Every day. I lived on 300 calories, and if, David tried to broach the conversation with me like, well, maybe you're not doing this right. You have no idea. I only eat 300 calories a day, and I exercise for 2 hours a day, and you have no idea what you're talking about, and you don't get it. I have genetic problems, and I have this problem, and no one in my family is lean, and it's harder for me. I'm never going to get there. I always lose this amount of weight, then I gain weight, and this is also at the same time I was on fat burners and taking, cleansing tea BS. Like, I was the queen of quick fix. And I was angry because I did it all and I spent the money and I wasted my brain energy. Don't tell me you know that I could do better. So if that is you, you're standing in your own way.
Definitely. It brings me back to this concept of the ego. We should probably talk more about this idea of what the ego is, because it's not just something you should talk about in spirituality. It's something that is really helpful for...
Well, I just love that you're laughing because you remember this so clearly. You've been here for the whole thing. And when people, I'm trying to kindly talk to my clients, and sometimes they get really mad at me when I say, well, it's a pattern that needs to be broke. They will email me back with vicious assaults. You don't know. No, I do. I actually do know. And I'm not judging you.
Yeah.
I'm giving you a flashlight here. Come on, come to the other side.
That's right.
Let that anger just dissipate and take a real look at what's going on here. If you want to change. If not, you stick with that anger and you protect yourself and insulate yourself with your excuses and you stay the way you are.
Right.
But I'm telling you, and that's another episode I'd like to do. All the self-abusive things that I used to do, and now they're all the things that are marketed on the internet as the best way to lose weight. And why I don't roll with those companies.
That's right.
Though I've been offered many times and lots of money too.
Yes.
So.
I've got another superficial one we need to cover. Okay. This one is very simple. It's a comparison one. You have this thought, I will never be as lean as, and then you insert name here.
Again, story of my especially my teens that just travels over to your 20s. Yeah, that
takes you back a little further when it's so much, looking at others is just so prevalent in so many people's minds, especially when it comes to weight loss.
Well, especially women, because it's whatever's going on in the media. Like, when I was growing up, it was the 5'10", 5'11", 115-pound female. That's what was sexy. So, how do I ever compete with that? So that embeds in my mind, and it bred through, when you're in high school, you look at the tall, skinny athlete girls, and it's like, oh, that's what's desirable. And then that bleeds into your 20s, then that bleeds into your 30s, and before you know it, it's in your subconscious, and you don't even realize where it came from.
It buries deep in there, and then it can flare up at any time.
Well, it's something that actually ticked me off yesterday, I read, because Helen Mirren, which I adore, it was all over social media that she was praising Kim Kardashian for changing body standard ideals. And I got so mad because, okay, so this group of young girls, which I have young girls that I'm obsessed with in this growing up right now. So because they're not going for the anorexic body with the breast implants shape, now they're going for the full face plastic surgery, butt implants, breast implants, liposuction, waist. That's somehow better?
Honestly.
So we traded in starvation with breast implants for non-stop plastic surgery, and then pretending it's just how you were born, even though we've watched these people physically evolve over the years, but somehow they think they're tricking us. I don't know how dumb they think the general population is. It really bothered me, because if you want to go into, like, curvy women, like, that have should be applauded. Let's talk about Jennifer Lopez. Let's talk about, these women that have real bodies that work out for them that don't have the conventional shapes. Let's talk about Lena Dunham that said, I'm not going to, let's talk about real stuff here. Like, come on. You just traded in one superficial, hard, impossible to achieve body for another.
Wow, I'm actually surprised. I didn't know about this. I mean, she actually said that?
That's what all the headlines said. I didn't click on it because I didn't want to give it any money because I don't click on Kardashian stuff. But that's what all the headlines said, and I was really annoyed because it's just trading in one for another.
It is.
I don't understand.
Yeah, it is. There is literally 0 point in comparing yourself to others, and it's when this comes up in your mind, it's something that you have to recognize.
It's so hard not to because it's just so hard not to, and I get it. And it's one of those things where you have to dip into self-love. And when you dip
That's exactly it. That's how you do it. Once you recognize.
You dip into self-love and you say, okay, I was given this body by nature, by God, whatever your vibe is, and I'm supposed to make the most of it. This is my container I was given. What am I supposed to do with this container? I'm supposed to be healthy. I'm supposed to be vibrant. I'm supposed to feel light. I'm supposed to just flow through life with this container. Now, what are the steps I need to do for that? And then whatever that body ends up being is your perfect body.
That's right.
Shape, size, scale, all that stuff. So, for myself, I always looked at, like, these girls that were just ridiculously lean. Well, I have a more naturally curvy shape. I didn't know that I had it. I didn't know. But I'm always, no matter how lean I am, if I'm in a bathing suit, I look curvy. It doesn't matter, we have pictures that I took of myself in a bathing suit. It's so funny because I'll be in clothes and someone will say, you're too skinny. And then I'll be in a bathing suit and someone will be like, oh, what's that? What are these curves? So it's about not judging yourself. It's about letting your greatest, whatever that is, out. Exactly. And I'm telling you, from someone that works with women, and I see women in bathing suits, all day, every day, I have never once looked at a woman and thought, ew. Ever.
No, it's not in your nature, no.
No, but it's not only not in my nature, it's not true. It's not true.
That's right.
It's not true. Everybody is beautiful. And that's the God-honest truth. And we look at ourselves, we see our flaws, and it's like we take this microscope or, looking glass, and we just focus in on them, and they become so huge, and they're so dumb. It's like that whole thing when you look back at a picture of yourself, 5 years ago, and you're like, oh my God, I was so skinny and pretty. Why did I hate myself? And then you do it again. Like, you hate yourself today, and then in 5 years you look back, and you're like, God, I was looking good. I hated myself. What?
Right.
Skip it. Start loving yourself. Appreciate where you are now. Just skip that whole thing.
I love this idea because it applies to the other ones we spoke about as well. Loving yourself and getting back in your own lane.
Ugh. Blinders on.
Exactly. I love that analogy. That's excellent as well. Blinders on. Go for it.
And if you need the analogy, put yourself like you're running a race and just pretend that you keep looking over to the side. You're never going to win that race. Mm-hmm. You can't. You got to stay focused on your own stuff.
That's right. What we've covered so far today, these thought patterns that can halt weight loss, they can prevent you from achieving your goals. We've covered the general outline.
These are the superficial ego quick hitters, we call them.
Exactly. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut that off there as part one.
Sounds good.
We're going to go into the deeper ones tomorrow in the next episode.
Tomorrow, they're more real and they take more work.
They take more work. These guys, you can critically evaluate them and see for yourself. Self-love, shedding the ego, these kind of guys, you can sort of step through this and work on them on a day-by-day basis. The ones tomorrow are a little more like deep-seated from something you've been through.
Right, and we'll talk about ways to heal from those.
I love it.
Yes.
That's Healthy Rebel Radio for today, and we hope you have a great day.
See you.
Healthy Rebel Radio is presented by the online health and wellness center, DamiHealth.com. Since 2009, Amy Lane has successfully coached thousands of women through her signature program, the Bikini Body Program. Join today to work exclusively with Amy to unveil your greatest yet to be from the inside out. Go to DamiHealth.com for more information.
Thank you for listening to Healthy Rebel Radio. Please connect with us on our community pages on Facebook, Pinterest, and Instagram, all at the handle @DamiHealth. For weekly recipes, articles, and all our episodes straight to your inbox, join our newsletter at damiehelp.com. You can find all the links discussed in today's episode in the show notes. Thank you for joining us, and see you tomorrow.